and welcome to my September allotment tour. This month has been really changeable. There's been some big changes and it's been a really positive month for me. On the allotment there haven't been too many changes, but we're going into autumn now. It's definitely getting a bit windier, temperatures are getting colder at night, and we did have a few storms in the middle of September, and my flowers, in particular the dahlias, they took a bit of a battering and some of them ended up horizontal, which wasn't great. But I also celebrated my birthday and I went to Birmingham Botanical Gardens, which was gorgeous. If you're in the Midlands, I recommend you pay a visit for a day because there's so much inspiration, so many different garden styles, and it was brilliant. I had a great day out. But I guess the biggest news of all, and the biggest change, is that I left my office job and I started working in the private garden this week, and it's been a brilliant first week. The sun shone all week, we didn't have a drop of rain, and on some days it even felt like summer because it was about 20 degrees and I got up to all sorts. We moved some rose plants, I moved a small spruce tree, I pruned the inside of the wisteria arch whilst the head gardener Paul, he did the outside and the top. I'm still getting used to the heavy machinery because yeah, it really is heavy and my muscles are quite tired this weekend, but I'm just gonna have to get used to it, and it's something that, you know, I'll get stronger at the more and more I do it, which I'm not worried about. I just need to get back onto yoga and sort of stretch my muscles so it doesn't ache so much, I think. But yeah, I've had a brilliant first week. I was also in the walled kitchen garden doing some weeding, and I worked on the hedge that they have in the middle there. It's quite a new hedge, and so basically I was just trimming the tops off to neaten it out and weeded all the gravel, along with the help of the chickens, who are always under my feet, but they're so funny. And it's just been a great week and we've got lots of exciting things to look forward to. I won't be able to film too much there really. If you follow me on Instagram you might find a few snippets in my stories, but because it is somebody's private, you know, it is their garden, I need to respect their privacy, so I won't be doing any YouTube videos for now at least, because it is my job and, you know, I've got to be professional about it. So thanks for your comments last month, but for now, if you want to see what it's like there, follow me on Instagram, it's the best way. It's actually been a really busy month on the plot for my harvests as well. I've had loads of apples off the apple tree already, loads of tomatoes and chilies, my carrots, oh my god, you wait till you see my carrots, I'll show you in a bit. Lots of beans as well. The squash, I've actually harvested all of the squash a little bit earlier than I would have liked, and that's down to the cold temperatures at night time. I was a little bit worried that it might drop to 0, and if your squash get to freezing point then they turn to mush, and I didn't want that risk. So I harvested them all. I've got a couple of them here. They're the butternuts, not butternut squash, honeyboat squash, that I can't wait to try, but I'll show you my epic harvest a bit later, as well as the monster butternut squash. Trouble is, because I've had such a busy month, I haven't actually spent too much time here, so it's looking rather weedy. It's a little bit of a mess, so it might be a quicker tour as I just skim over all the weeds. Oh yeah, I also started college as well, so I've been there for a few weeks. I've already sat my first test. So the course I'm on is the RHS, that's the Royal Horticultural Society, level 2 in practical horticulture. And so I'm studying there for just a few hours a week. It's a part-time course, and I've already got my own little allotment patch that we're digging over, and we'll be planting some winter crops soon. And I've already had a test on the scientific names for 20 different weeds, and I passed that. Woohoo! I got all of them right, which I was dead pleased about. So that's going really well, and it's great to meet so many other people from different backgrounds. You know, it's a really nice mix of people there who are also interested in growing their own and horticulture. So I'm really loving the course. So as you can tell, I've got a lot to keep me busy at the moment, but it's time I showed you around the plot. So let's go have a little look around and show you what's going on this month in September. Okay, let's do this. Just don't judge too harsh. Dahlias are still standing, but that wasn't always the case. Let me spin around. As you can see, the herb bed is a mess. The pond you can't really see, but there are still frogs in there. I have seen a couple. But yeah, we had a bit of a disaster here with the storm. I've been getting so many flowers from them though, so I'm not too disheartened. And it's been such a success, my raised bed, that's only been there for a few months. But the Wizard of Oz dahlia, this one here, is probably one of my favourites that I've grown. I just love how much they look like a lotus flower. They're so perfect in the symmetry. I really love it. But this plant was actually horizontal a few weeks ago, and I thought it had snapped, but luckily it hadn't. So I've propped it back up with a rather ugly support, just to try and protect it from the winds. But I think because it's so tall, you know, that's probably 6 foot high, it just got caught in this wind and was completely flattened. So, but all the others are okay. They're a bit smaller now. Some of them need deadheading, but the black fly, I've been loving them, so it has taken a bit of their size away. Look, they're just smothered in black fly all over. They're getting a bit towards the end of their lifespan now, and I will be pulling up my dahlia tubers. I haven't, obviously this is the first time I've grown dahlias, so I haven't done it before, but I really don't want to risk having a really cold, wet winter and losing the tubers, so I will be lifting them in a few months. And also I want to, you know, thinking ahead now for next year, I think I want to have some tulips in here for early spring. I'm definitely not going to bother with the gladioli again, because they didn't do anything. It was the hot summer, you know, a lot of things have struggled this year. Yeah, I'm going to pull up all of the summer raspberry canes because they're not worth it for me. I've decided, you know, sometimes you've got to be harsh when you realise that a crop isn't worth its space. So I'm going to pull all those up and put something else in there. Not quite sure what yet, but it definitely needs a good weed. Strawberries, well, let's not even go there. One thing I do need to do is pull all the runners out and divide them. Look, my cosmos, this was a really nice big plant, nice bushy one, and that collapsed in the wind, completely snapped off at the base, which is a shame. Do you remember the pine berries that I grew? The white strawberries, and they taste like pineapple. Well, I've got some runners from the plants and I saved them. So I've actually put them in a big bucket of water to root them, and it's actually worked brilliantly. It saves me from, you know, sticking them in a pot and trying to anchor them down into the soil before severing it from the mother plant. And this was a tip I picked up from a friend on Instagram. And oh, that's only got a little one there, look. So yeah, I've just cut them off and stuck them in this bucket. They're rooted already. It's only taken about a week maybe. So I'll be putting these into some pots before I decide where they go. They might stay in pots, I'm not quite sure, but it just buys me some more time, because what I really didn't want was for them to, you know, root on the path or over there, and then they get lost with all the other strawberries rather than the pine berries. So yeah, this is a big old mess, and I'm going to show you it because, you know, I'm trying to be honest. Like, this is what allotment life is really like, and it's a battle against the weeds most of the time. See all those nettles at the back? My autumn raspberries are about done. Still a few more on there, but yeah, not a bad harvest since I've only had them a year or two. The apples, it's been a great year for my apple tree. Even though we had such a cold spring and hot summer, I've harvested lots already, made some lovely pasties. There's a recipe on my blog if you want to have a look. But yeah, I've had lots of apples, and this is my Egremont Russet, and it's quite sweet with a bit of a sour twang, but it's a nice crisp apple. Now if you look at the flowers underneath, it's a bit here and there, and I think that next year I might grow my dwarf cosmos under here instead of this tall variety. I've got lots of cosmos everywhere, but I've really loved them, they're so pretty. I've got my zinnias, they're still going. All the flowers are still going really, because we haven't had a hard frost yet. My wildlife corner is probably my favourite place to sit and relax on the allotment now, and I'm so glad that I decided to do it this year. When you compare it to the mess that it was at the start of the year, it's completely different, and the insects and the wildlife are loving it. Especially because the flowers, they're still flowering now at the end of September, so it's providing with that late source of pollen, which is really important. I can hardly actually step down the path now because the flowers are covering it so much, but I'm just so happy. It looks really pretty, and I might do a bit of redesigning for next year, because I think there are some plants at the back there that could do with moving, because it's a little bit gappy and a little bit too low. I would have really loved to have made a hedgehog house for autumn and winter for the hedgehogs to hibernate in. I'm not sure if it's too late, and I'm not quite sure even where to start with making one, but if I can whip that up in the next few weeks, I would love to put it inside the hedge there, because our British hedgehogs are really in decline. They really need our help, and if I can provide them with a little house to sleep in over the winter, then that would be awesome. I know I'll definitely be growing cosmos again, because I think you just get so much flowers for your money, and just for the sake of sowing a few seeds, it just looks really impressive, so meadowy. Yeah, I love it. I think I'd better move now, because I might be in this bee's way. So as I turn around, here is the view of the allotment from the shed at the moment, and we come to my carrot bed. So if you've been following me throughout the year, you'll know that I've been putting all my effort into my carrots. I built this raised bed, I filled it with a really sandy, soily compost, and I went to almost every method to try and prevent carrot fly. So what happened was, it was all going so well until I pulled one up just to see how it was doing, and I noticed those telltale black lines and holes in the bottom of the carrot, which said there was a carrot fly larvae wiggling its way through. And sure enough, I did actually spot it, and I thought, right, that's it. So I harvested the lot, and it was either leave them in there for a few weeks to get a bit bigger, at the risk of more of those larvae hatching from the eggs and then eating their way through my entire crop. So I didn't want to lose a single carrot, and to be fair, I only had very minimal damage on just a couple of them, and I actually harvested a whopping great big 3.2 kilograms of carrots, and it was amazing because it's the first time I've ever really successfully grown a proper crop of carrots, let alone that many. So I've been freezing lots of them, gonna make lots of nice stews and casseroles, might even try some carrot cake, but I'm not very good at baking, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I was lucky to catch it when I did, but otherwise it's been fabulous, and I recommend to anybody that wants to grow straight carrots to get a nice sandy soily mix, raise it off the ground at least that far. If you want to prevent carrot fly, really you should mesh it, cover it with a EnviroMesh or really fine netted material, or make a little barrier wall to stop them from flying over. So if I'd have done that, then I probably wouldn't have had any damage at all. But I didn't. But you know what? I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to bits. I got loads of carrots. They're going to keep me going throughout all the winter. Behind the carrot bed is my big squash patch, and I'm going to cut now to a little clip of me harvesting my massive butternut squash. Okay, so I've heard it's going to be really cold tonight, so I'm actually going to harvest my monster butternut squash. I don't know how long it is yet or what it weighs, so I'm going to cut it and then find out a bit later. So, as you saw in my other video, it was like as long as my shin, and it's pretty ripe now, so I'm just going to harvest it and take it home. Oh my god, it's massive! Hey! It's the biggest veg I've ever grown, and I'm pretty proud of that. And as you can see, these are all the squash that I've harvested. I have, I think, 9 of the honeyboat squash and some of the really big butternut squash as well. So I'm really pleased with my harvest this year. I'm harvesting loads of these French beans. They are just prolific, and I've also got the borlotti beans growing behind. These are a little bit further behind than the cobras, but these would be great for stews and casseroles. I'm going to be saving the beans that are inside. Running around the other side, the lettuce has gone to seed, so has the basil as well. I'll be saving the seed from these, especially the purple variety at the back there. I've still got lots of beetroot to harvest. I'll be picking some of those. And the courgette plant, well, it's always producing, but eel is a rotten one. It is slowing down now. I'll probably only get 2 or 3 more for the season. I've still got some green manure to sow here. I'm going to go with field beans now, I think. Which brings us on to my winter veg patch. Don't have that many parsnips, remember, but the Chinese cabbage is coming on okay. It does have a bit of slug damage, but it should be fine. Lots of white beetroot are on their way. Here's the albino one. He's grown really well in the last month, actually. And then there's the purple pak choy. Sorry, red. It's a red pak choy. That won't be long now until harvest. But yeah, this bed really needs a good weed. And then the chard, that'll go through the winter months as well. Oh, funny story about this. I picked up these brassica plants on a plant swap, and it was labelled as broccoli. And I thought, yeah, I'll try growing broccoli for the first time. It's clearly not broccoli. This is a curly kale, and I don't actually like curly kale, so I might take these to work for the walled kitchen garden because, well, even the chickens, they should like them. So that's the winter veg patch, and that'll be staying there, and I'll probably put some rotted horse manure on this bed in the springtime rather than using a green manure. So let's head up into the polytunnel next. Oh yeah, my succulent wheelbarrow is doing alright, but some of them, get out this grass, it's actually flowering, and I've been told to save the seed, otherwise this plant is going to die after it goes to seed, so I'm going to collect them and maybe grow some more. Here we are inside the polytunnel. It's all looking a little bit sad because I haven't watered it. So the chilli plants are looking a bit droopy. The tomatoes are still fine. I've cropped so many tomatoes. And I've still got lots more to come, look. I've pinched out the top of the plants now, and I'm removing any more flowers so that it puts all its energy into ripening the tomatoes that are already on here. There's some more. These are all the Sweet Million. I've got so many. I've already made some chutneys. Oh, really, really nice. So here it is from the back. The Amish paste one in particular, I've had so many this year, and they're really big and they're great for juicing, making into sauces. Look, my sweet peppers, they're starting to ripen at last. It's only taken them a few months. But yeah, this plant's flopped over because it's so heavy. Should have really staked it. But yeah, hopefully they'll ripen before, the frosts come. I've got lots of the purple cayenne peppers. These are the Aji pineapple. I'm going to pickle these, I think, and keep them whole. But I'm also into fermentation now. Has anybody else fermented their chilies? It's something new that I'm going to try. But yeah, the leaves on this has already dropped, I think because of the cold temperatures at night. The thermometer reads highs of 43. That's because I've had the door closed and it got to 20 in the week, so very hot in here, and 3.3 at night, so it is getting really quite cold. The Indian chili, Sajwala, haven't cooked with these yet, but I'm going to harvest a lot more of those. What else? So yeah, a lot of them have still got, fair bit more ripening to do. These are the purple cayennes that have just been on long enough to turn red, which is how I'll probably harvest them, to be honest, because they'll be a bit sweeter. And I just found that when they're purple, they're still quite hard and not quite fully ripe, to be honest. These I'll be making into a hot chili sauce, because I really like thick, chunky, hot sauces for your meats, which is something I've not done before. And so I'll be fermenting these ones in particular over the next few weeks. A great year, I think, because we've had such hot summer. I mean, look at that yellow. What's that one? That's the Yellow Delight. Oops. These are really hot. So yeah, looking a bit droopy. I'm not going to be overwintering any of these because I don't think they'd survive. Instead, I'm going to be using the pots that they're in for my dahlias to save the tubers, but I will be collecting the seeds from them so I can grow them again next year. So yeah, it's been a really good year, especially for the tomatoes. We've not had blight, which it's usually prone to every year, but we have had quite a few split tomatoes. Look, and that one's moulded because it's been split for some time and I haven't picked it. So it's the end of the evening now, and also the end of the month. So here's the plot at the end of September, and soon all those leaves will be gone. So thanks for joining me again on another tour of my allotment. I hope you enjoyed it. As you can tell, I've got a lot to keep me busy over the next few months. Lots of tidying up to do, green manures to sow, lots of crops to pull out and remove that are all done. The polytunnel, that'll need clearing out soon. Hopefully I'll start work on the woodland area in the next few months, but I've also got hedges to prune, the strawberry patch to sort. There's lots to do. So hopefully it'll be looking a little bit more tidy next month. I will still give you a tour despite it being the end of October. There won't be many things growing, but I do actually have a bonus video to share with you before then, and it's all about how my plot has changed in the last 4 years, because I've actually had my plot for 4 years this month. So it's like a little recap of all the different stages that it's gone through, and it shows you just how messy it was when I took it on. So look out for that one in the next few weeks. Until then, I will see you next time. Bye.